we're going to be discussing No PPE, PPE, and the PPE Police, all on this edition of the Pest Geek Podcast.
Pull out your hose and grab your can. We're about to integrate another Pest Geek Podcast. Hi, everybody. Frank Hernandez here, and welcome to the Pest Geek Podcast, bringing you the latest information on pests, products, and politics from today's leading industry sources to help you start, manage, and grow your pest control business.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to another edition of the Pest Geek Podcast. I am your host, Frank Hernandez, here every week discussing all things pests. Hey, we're going to be discussing to PPE or not to PPE and the PPE Police. I mean, have you ever, when I first started in this business, every time I went to a CEU class, it was always a big deal on PPE. You got to wear your PPE, and you can't wear, you got to wear long sleeve pants, and you got to wear long sleeve shirts. And that was drilled into me to be covered up. I mean, I wear a hat. I mean, I used to wear a hard hat, because I didn't want it to fall on my hair when I was doing overhead spraying. Then I stopped 2 years after I got into this business. I stopped doing overhead spraying and, and things like that. And I was, making sure you're wearing all your PPE. And then you drive by a house, and there's a guy there in shorts and a short sleeve shirt doing pest control with a B&G around a property, and you're like, what the? And what you wanted to do was take a picture of that and send it to the inspector and have him busted. Now, he was probably violating the label. But when I got more serious about this, and I started looking into lower toxicity products and safer products and things that I could do for my business to create a niche for us, I was shocked that a ton of products have no PPE requirement. And to most people, this is a shock what you're hearing right now, that hearing this from me, that we don't wear PPE. Well, I wear PPE because I do lawn and no, but I have one route that has no PPE requirement. All the products on that route have no PPE requirement. And we use our baits, and that is not required to do GHP. As a matter of fact, if you do GHP, I am hard pressed when I have to use a product that requires PPE to get control. And we're going to look at a bunch of them so you can see that it's a lot more than you think. Most of Rockwell Labs products, by the way, I love Rockwell Labs. I use a ton of their products. The reason I went with them is because I really like their rep, who takes good care of me. They make great products that work. Never had a complaint. And I like them. But I use Entice 10 for my boric acid bait for outside and in like attics and crawl spaces. And we had the choice to go with Entice 10 or to go with Nisus. And it's another company. I use a ton of their products. But between the two baits, Nisus requires PPE and theirs doesn't. And we went with Entice 10 from Rockwell because there's no PPE required on their 10% boric acid bait. Cymexa has no PPE requirement. By the way, Entice 10, it does have one PPE because you must wear shoes plus socks. I know I'm in Florida. It gets hot. I know it's natural to walk around in flip-flops. I've seen pool guys show up in flip-flops. When I used to do pools, I see pool guys all over the place in flip-flops. That's all that's required with Entice 10 is shoes plus socks. Cymexa requires no PPE. Now, do I use PPE with Cymexa? Yeah, I use the dust mask because it is an irritant to your sinuses. Blitz and Express, very limited PPE. They say there is no specific requirement for applicators or other handlers. However, following is recommended at a minimum. So it's a recommendation. It's not even required. Short sleeve shirt and long pants, and then shoes plus socks. In Vic Gold, roach bait. Most roach baits have no PPE requirement. So in Vic Gold, Ecovia, protective eyewear, nitrile, or other chemical resistant gloves are recommended They're not required. Ecovia Dust, same thing. Dust mask, eye protection, nitrile, and other chemical-resistant gloves are recommended. They're not required. Max Force Complete. Applicators, handlers must wear shoes plus socks. That's it. Telstar PL, the granular. No PPE required. Advion Roach Gel. No PPE required. Demand CS. Demand CS, a pyrethroid, has no PPE required. So next time you see somebody out there doing pest control without any PPE, without using, especially people have a fit when they don't have where they're in shorts, it's 97 degrees and you were wearing long pants and a long sleeve shirt and it's 97 and you're pissed off at the whole world. The last thing you want to see is another pest control guy out there in shorts and shirt sleeve enjoying his life because you're freaking miserable. I mean, that's a lot of the time that fits that we have with people. And we shouldn't be judging. I've matured. I changed a lot. I think that you do the same. And you learn. And you just basically let people be. You worry about you. You worry about your business. Don't start nitpicking and looking at what everybody else is doing, because it won't help your business at all. If you're not going to learn from them to do something better, then just ignore it and let it be. Guys, it's been a pleasure. I will see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Pest Geek Podcast. If you have enjoyed the Pest Geek Podcast, please give us a rating, write a review, or subscribe to the channel. You can join the Pest Geek Society by visiting PestGeekPodcast.com. Thank you for listening. See you next time.